like to call the Tuesday, March 19th, 2024 Board of Public Works and Safety meeting to order. We'll begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. If Mike Freeze could state the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Approval of minutes, do I have a motion? So moved. I will second that. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, motion passes. Public comment, I do not have any public comment here. Mr. Dragmeister, do you have any public comment? All right. Clerk Treasurer, Porte, claims approval.
We have civil city payroll in the amount of $517,853.71.
I move to approve the civil city payroll.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, motion passes.
We have civil city claims in the amount of $816,654.76.
I move to approve the civil city claims.
Second, discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes.
Water claims in the amount of $285,141.12.
I move to approve the water claims.
Second, discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes.
And finally, sewage claims in the amount of $271,308.04.
I move to approve the sewage claims.
Second, discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Thank you, Clerk Treasurer Partoon. Sir, I think this gentleman came in late. Did you have public comment? I'm sorry?
I'll do it later.
Okay, thank you. Department head reports to the point and brief. We have Mike Freeze, Streets. Welcome, Mike.
We are going on is patching, tree cutting, we can control patching up this in the next couple of weeks.
And potholes,
Right, that's it, patching.
because we are
Mile free.
pothole free. And the water, we are always working towards, because again, with the weather, please do, and there are out there because of the weather change, the freeze thaw issues, it's a constant battle. And this is why we need the legislature to consider, when they consider funding with roads, that northern Indiana should be considered for additional funding over Indianapolis and southern Indiana, because we deal with weather impact more than other parts of the state. Agreed?
Agreed.
All right. Tim Warner, Water.
Good morning, and thank you. The only thing I had this morning is to let the public know that we will be starting our spring flushing. The first or second week of April, we're still kind of pinning down, but it will definitely be the first or second week of April we'll be going on. That gives us a chance to get our maintenance hands on.
NDOT has released their Indiana Avenue plans on their website, and I'm running through the wall running through review those to make sure everything's working along, kind of issuing what the plans are.
I hope the public understands to take a look at that, because everybody recognizes Indiana Avenue, but this is a major project. And people will be put out to deal with this, but it's a major project, so look now, look ahead of time. Don't wait till it happens and then you're saying, oh my gosh, what do I do? Jerry, I was asked also, solar panels. Are they being replaced? Why it's 7 years? Because we've heard that solar panels last longer. Are they being replaced?
The ones on Boyd Boulevard at the turn down by the bakery are being replaced. And that got me those aren't ours. That got me real curious how long those have been there. And they're at least 15 years old, the ones there at the turn. So I haven't stopped in there to ask them. I'm very curious what's going on.
But our panels have been in there.
5 years now.
But you're not replacing any?
No, we're not replacing them, and that prompted me to look and see what kind of power output we're getting from them compared to when they were brand new. And as near as I can tell, we're down 3 or 4%. So, and then I started wondering and looking around, there's actually people who have services that have machines that go clean those things. So that might be something in our future. But no, we're not replacing them. That's the private solar field that's on Boyd.
Is a 3 to 4% loss kind of over 5 years, is that to be expected?
They're saying 1 to 2-ish% a year.
Okay.
Yep.
Nick Minnick, Engineering.
No report today, thank you.
Courtney Parthoon. Jeff Batchelor, Code.
Yeah, we had a little problem with the dumpsters this last week. They were out there. The people used them fine during the week. We didn't get a chance because we were arguing with Waste Management a little bit to get them dumped. I opened it up on Saturday so we could take and get people out there. That was one of the complaints about it. And because they weren't dumped, we only stayed open for an hour. So we closed it down. When Mike came in Monday, somebody had pulled up there, or numerous people pulled up there and just threw stuff over the fence, and just couches and anything you can imagine was just laying on the ground. I mean, if people aren't going to take and respect what's going to happen, then I would just take and cancel the program. I mean, if they can't just wait for us to empty them, then why should we take and do this?
And we will be collecting data or license plates for those that are dumping, throwing over, and police reports will be filed.
Yep, for dumping it and all that stuff like that. It'd be just like throwing trash anyplace else.
So then, with that, are we able to issue a citation purely from the video then?
If we can get the license plate number and we can catch them doing it and that stuff, yeah. And then for code, we're working on vacant houses and items in the tree lawn, just to get everything cleaned up and that stuff for the spring.
I don't know how you educate lack of pride to just throw trash like that.
You know, if people would just take their time and they load up the stuff to take and throw it away, just keep it there until the next Monday or the next day when the stuff's vacant. We've worked with Waste Management. We got a pretty good idea on getting them things. We're going to get 2 dumpsters emptied Tuesday and Thursday, and then Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, all 3 will be emptied. So, I mean, this is the most it's been used this quick in time and that stuff there. But if it's full, do not just throw stuff on the ground or across the fence or anything like that.
Assistant Chief Dragmeister.
Applicant Devin Hammonds Flanagan is going through the process of perf. We got word that he's passed the psych eval and physical. Waiting on the reports actually be sent for those. We have a perf board meeting on him tomorrow, and follow that is a swear-in date that will be established. And hopefully, if everything goes well, we'll have him in the academy by end of April. There was some openings, but those get filled, and I can't reserve a spot until after we get the perf passed. So,
Is the goal still to speed up the process of?
we will be entertaining a one-day hiring process, which will cover about 80% of the hiring process in itself. Will consist of physical agility, written test, and the interview, all in the same day, which is a big hump. Then you'll still have the background check, and then of course we have to do the perf, be accepted by perf, which takes some time, but perf is one of the biggest hurdles, obviously, we can do what we can do to speed it up, but you still have to go through and get examined with the physical and the psych in order to pass.
Assistant Chief, how close are we to full strength? What,
Right now, we're at 41.
44 is
full strength, yep.
Chief Snyder? Just a reminder that we are still accepting applications through next Wednesday, so a little over 1 week left. We have one position open right now that probably will be coming with that new list.
Roscoe Hoffman, IT, and I'll tell you what, we're excited for all the improvements that you have made to our technology so that the public can hear and be involved. Thank you. You've worked hard on it.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. I do have one report. About 2 weeks ago, we had the storm that had hit us here, and it took out our main switch. There were 2 modules that were taken out, and 2 of our power supplies that were absolutely destroyed. Last week, I was able to replace both of the power supplies, and the modules got replaced as well. Yesterday, I did a full reset in the switch, and everything's now back up to normal, functioning as it's supposed to. The original plan about 2 weeks ago was to get a switch, a backup switch. I had looked at a backup switch that I was planning on using with it, and it won't work. So I'm in the process now looking for a backup switch. If something like this happens again, we can't have it. So there was a downtime of probably about 4 hours before we would be able to get back up. So hopefully looking at getting another switch as a backup to use.
Okay.
All's good.
But excellent work. Take credit for all the good work here.
Good job, Roscoe. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Bert Cook, LEAP.
Good morning to the Board of Public Works. Bert Cook, Executive Director of the LaPorte Economic Advancement Partnership. Just wanted to make you aware and appreciate the support of the City Council last night, who supported New York Blower's request to build a new professional office building along their plant on Factory Street. So they're going to invest about $5 million in building a new 14,000 square foot office building, as well as a green space along Factory, kind of in the area that they demolished a building a few years back. I think it'll be a really nice project for them. It'll help centralize their office staff, but will also make an improvement to what is a heavily industrialized area along Factory with some nice green space out front. So we're excited about the project and appreciate the City Council's support.
While I have you, Mr. Cook, one thing we've talked about, we've heard the county start promoting the development of the Kingsbury Industrial Plant, and I think we just publicly need to have the discussion that we're excited. I think there's not one person here in the city that doesn't support Kingsbury and jobs and opportunity, but we've been talking for 5 years now about alternative routes for truck traffic, that you're not going to run the trucks up Indiana Avenue into our downtown when they've chosen not to be willing to have appropriate discussion about development of roads or anything else because of fear. I just want to make sure that they understand. I hope they're planning for alternative routes for trucks.
Yeah, Mayor, we've been very clear with, and the economic development team at the county, as well as county council, county commissioners, that we're incredibly supportive of economic development and the efforts that they're making in the Kingsbury Industrial Park, but it also, they have to put some forethought and some planning into how that traffic gets to and from the industrial park. Of course, there's Route 6 and 30 and 421 headed south, but running those trucks through the center of our city is not going to be an option that works for anyone, so we will continue to communicate that message.
We can't be the only ones supportive of new roads, especially elsewhere outside the city.
And previous administrations at the county, I think,
have been more willing to have that discussion. Obviously, the county funded the study that started the corridor project, and then, elections happen, and I think that has changed a little over time, but it's my hope that that as the county continues to dedicate resources towards the industrial park, that they at the same time recognize the need to put some more planning dollars towards how traffic gets to and from that location.
And Matt Rudin from the county economic development does recognize the need for the roads, so we need the elected officials to get on board with us to.
Matt's been a terrific partner, and I think, we'd love to see the commissioners, because I think we've had, county council has been supportive as well, but love to see the commissioners and understand and embrace the need for this improvement as well. Thank you.
Mark Schreiber, Park.
Morning. Happy first day of spring. And with that, just a reminder to the public that park restrooms are open on April 15th. So we'll start getting the water turned back on here. Hopefully the weather will cooperate. We have seasonal positions open for lifeguards, maintenance, sports programming, and as well as our summer playgrounds. And people can apply either at the park office, 250 Pine Lake Avenue, or here at City Hall, or on the city website. And then I'll just piggyback a little bit on what Code was discussing. We've already had to clear out some construction waste out of the park, cinder blocks, drywall, things like that. So just a reminder that while our city dumpsters aren't a place for that, our parks aren't a place for that either. So, and not even in our dumpsters, just kind of dumped out in Soldiers Memorial Park. So just want to remind people to make sure that, they're responsible, and just piggybacking on what Mr. Batchelor said.
They should be embarrassed.
Yeah, and it's difficult to catch them. I mean, there's, over 500 acres of parkland out there in Soldiers Park. So, they find the hidden spots, and I'd probably tell them that they're probably encouraging more to do it. But it does cause a lot of problems for our resources, and then of course it just ruins the environment out in the park. So just please try and follow proper procedures, and again, and also for people, our park trash cans aren't for your personal household trash either. That's a big use of our resources as well. You would think in this wintertime we wouldn't have to do very many trash runs, but we know when there's big milk jugs and diapers and things of that nature in there, it's not likely somebody that was visiting the beach in January. So just,
if you can't have respect for yourself, at least have respect for our parks.
We would hope so. So thank you.
And I would just add, that, this has to be more than just like the city employees taking care of this, right? This has to be a grassroots thing where if if you are a family member or a friend or know that someone is doing this, say something.
Sure.
It's really ridiculous because it taxes truly all of us, right? If someone dumps things, whether it's in front of the dumpster at the gate or in a city park, someone who works for the city, who is paid by our tax dollars, is spending time to clean up someone's mess, who is basically just piggybacking off of the services that we provide as a community. So, and they're not paying for trash at home, or they're not paying to dispose of it, their construction waste in the appropriate way. So, really, it's not a sort of, I don't want to call it, victimless crime, but I mean, it is a problem for all of us because we all pay some minute portion when someone is taking advantage of the system. So it's just unfair, and really, say something.
No, absolutely. Yeah, it's like anything else. See something, say something. We say that often in terms of when people see other things such as vandalism or poor behaviors in the parks, people not following park rules or city ordinances. So see something, say something, let the authorities know, and we'll follow up on it. But we just simply need to discourage it. So.
And shame them, right? Totally, yeah. They should be embarrassed.
Thank you.
And by the way, we have had a couple messages I didn't recognize here. Candy Porter wants to know, when is the code violation going to happen for the eyesore on Lincoln Way going to happen? I don't understand the improper English, but I think they're moving forward every day to clean up a building. So I'm not sure what she means by that, but come on down to Code Enforcement Department. You can talk with her. And then Tyler Darnell, taxpayer money, the dumpster program, it's a waste. The LEAP program provides the sponsorship for that. So we certainly appreciate that.
Mayor, just to make sure, the UEA funds the dumpster
UEA,
program.
but through the, from LEAP through the
Correct.
UEA.
I'm quite sure that if this is not something that is well-utilized, or if the community doesn't want it, we'd be happy to put that funding to other uses. We can do that almost immediately.
Because that's the downtown, I think, again, Tyler has some confusion when he speaks, so he's welcome to come on down and get some clarity.
Well, let me say, I think the program works good if people would just take and use it for what it's supposed to be used for. When people abuse anything, then it causes a strain on everything and it doesn't work. And that's what I'm saying. People need to take and do the right thing, do what they're supposed to do with everything, whether it's the parks or with our dumpsters down behind the street department, so that we're not in this situation. It's a great service for the city of LaPorte.
And again, we want the building, why would we not want the building developed that collapsed downtown?
Yep.
And just leave it there.
Just kind of an update on the building downtown that, Mr. Very has been working on that building all winter. You can see now, there's kind of a series of things that need to be done, and all of the structural from the bottom up has been almost completed. You can see, if you want to just walk by, you can see the front window now has structural steel and different things in it. There's been a lot of movement. People haven't necessarily seen it because it's all been interior, as essentially the building gets shored up from the foundation and interior. So we don't see it on the outside as much, but that's a construction project. So the construction site has been kept clean. That's really important for us. But overall, it is an active construction project.
So Candy Porter can text me, 363-7293, and we can give her a tour?
Well, we'd have to,
Mr. Very.
We'd have to, coordinate that with Mr. Very. I don't know how safe it'd be to have general public in construction sites without the owner's approval.
Yeah, you could peek in, we've been around
We
there.
can peek, yeah, that's fine.
Good. Craig Phillips, Planning.
Good morning. Ongoing efforts with regard to several grants focused on economic development and housing opportunities for the city. Hopefully more to report on that soon. In addition to other housing efforts, getting ready to hopefully put the Beechwood Lakes property back out for bid in the next month or two. And waiting for hopefully any day now to get the word that we can move forward from NDOT on our city's comprehensive plan project. So that's about it for this morning.
Thank you. Jess Bruder, Communications. Andrea Smith, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see Beth West, Transport. Andrea Smith, HR.
Good morning, board members. Andrea Smith, HR Director. I will be back up in a little bit at the end of the agenda to present something to you. But I want to let you know that I had to have a couch removed, and it was $350 for the trash people to come and pick it up. So what a wonderful service you have for your folks. It's amazing, and
We have.
I knew after I said you. But again, it's a great service, and $350 is a lot of money to take a couch away. Thank you.
Okay, those that don't, department heads that don't have business before the board can go have a fantastic day. Request for signature, NDOT, concurrence form for 4th of July, Annette Leffler. It is that time of year.
So this is a form that's required to request Lincoln Way closure. It says that we're going to be using it in a temporary manner, and that we're going to be using side streets as a detour.
Motion to approve?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Discussion first? By the way, we also, Ms. Leffler has also asked for the governor's attendance again at the 4th of July. We've done our part, as the governor's office has continued to ask us to please request this. Because we are the capital of the state for a day.
You should be here.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, motion passes.
Thank you very much.
Assistant Chief Dragmeister is here, but I think we'll just move right to Brian Favia, if that's okay with you.
Yeah, I was gonna have him do it.
For our portable building for our range.
Brian Favia, LaPorte Police. So at our range, we were donated a shed several years ago by the wastewater treatment. It was an old pump house. The shed has come to the end of its life and needs to be removed. So we have then received a grant, not a grant, but a donation from Franciscan Health for the purchase of a shed. They went out and went to Yoder's at Fail and East Lincoln Way and got the cost, because Franciscan also owns Ton and Blank Construction. They then took it to Ton and Blank and to figure out if it would be cheaper to build one or just purchase one that was already built. They deemed the quality of those sheds, they wouldn't save any money by building it themselves. So before you, I don't know if you all have the paperwork or not, but there were three quotes. There's not many places around town that are selling sheds, so 2 of them are from online. I believe Menards and Lowe's. The cost for those sheds are obviously minus the assembly and the quality of it. So the shed at Yoder's is 10 by 16, has windows, locking doors, and also a skylight in it to help with light since there's no electricity. The shed it holds all of our range training equipment, not including firearms or ammunition. It just holds the targets and stuff. So right now, the problem that we have is our animals get in there and obviously they eat up the targets. So rain gets in there, makes them wet and unusable. So it's just more of an expense on the city's part. So.
Motion to approve the new shed.
So moved.
Second, discussion. Hold on, we got it for the record. Let us go ahead and first pass discussion.
No, just, would this come out of the, just, the
It's a
police?
grant, it's
Oh,
a,
the
Franciscan
ah.
donated the money, so
Okay.
it's just in a restricted fund right now. So
Gotcha, okay.
It's
Thank
it's in a restricted fund, it was donated from Franciscan, so we're just following our procurement policy.
Okay, I didn't catch it, okay.
Obtaining 3 quotes. Yep.
And maybe with the new shed, I don't know, I haven't been asked back since I scored equally to the previous
We don't need to
chief.
show anybody else.
I haven't been asked back, so maybe it's because of the shed, now that you have a new shed. Mr. Kosher would like to go out there as well.
We're not eaten through.
So with that, further discussion,
It might be from target selection.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, motion passes. And now Mr. Freeze would like to come up as a part of, because I thought there was going to be an offer here.
Services to build it.
Please come forward.
Well, with living in LaPorte my whole life for 50 years, and all of us kind of go back, some of us further than others, just hearing that, I've owned a construction company in this town for October will be 27 years. I've done some work around, built a building at the high school, done some work here at City Hall, all over. And I would just offer to put it up for cost if you guys bought the material. with
So,
that.
thank you, and we'll let Francisca know if there's any help that Mr. Freeze, we appreciate that offer, could do, so thank you. Tucker King, welcome. Big news here.
Yeah, good morning. So I am coming up to ask that you approve or sign for the U.S. Forest Service tree grant that we received. So after the whole update process, we were able to agree on $1 million. $295,000 of that will come back and bolster our efforts here at the city, and then the other $700,000 will be focused on contractual work to remove and plant more trees, so.
I will tell you, do I have a motion?
Yeah, so moved, yeah.
Second discussion, and I will tell you how much work that Tucker put in for this grant. But can you describe the $1 million? I know it's over
3.5 years.
3.5 years?
Yeah, they shortened the window because we received a little bit less money. But I mean, realistically, I'm hoping that we can get the work done a little bit quicker than 3.5 years. They said that if we can show that we're having success with our program, that there will probably be more money available to the community. So I'm hoping that we can kind of get together with the street crew and the tree crew and get this thing rolling and show real success and hopefully get some more money.
But the funds will be spread amongst planting trees?
Yeah, so we're hoping to plant a rough estimate around 500 trees, new trees, into our catalog, and then do some work on roughly 150 of our aging trees that need to be removed from our inventory.
Will some, I was asked this morning, actually, will some maple trees be planted?
Yes, so a certain percentage will be maples. Currently, 80% of our tree canopy is maples, and according to current arborist standards, that's kind of dangerous if there was some kind of like large disease, similar to maybe emerald ash borer a few years back, if you remember that, where if there was something that targeted maples specifically, we could lose anywhere from, around 5,000 trees essentially from our inventory, and that would be a devastation both to our canopy and to our budget, because we really don't have any money to pay for that removal of 5,000 trees like that. So we are trying to increase the diversity, but a certain percentage of that will be maples.
I would just ask that the maples not be planted towards the sidewalks, because we've learned from 50 years ago a hard lesson about how they pull up the sidewalks.
Yeah, so we do have a process now with our contracted arborist, Phil Graff. He goes to each site before we plant trees and determines through a multiple of factors what trees would best fit in those planting sites based off shade, size of the tree planting area. We're doing our due diligence now to make sure that trees that go where they go are meant to go where they're going.
Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you, Tucker, for your work.
Yep, thank you, guys.
Beth West.
Should have copies of the certificates of assurance, the certificates of financial capability and assurance from NERC. These are our annual contracts that need to be signed by them to make sure that we're getting our federal funding and that we're staying compliant. One needs to be signed by the mayor and the attorney, another by the mayor and the clerk treasurer, and then a third by the mayor, the clerk treasurer, and myself.
Motion to approve?
So moved.
Second, discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mary Ann Richards.
Good morning. I'm requesting authorization from the Board of Works to solicit quotes for the program year 2023 CDBG sidewalk replacement program. And that area is in Census Tract 423. It's a continuation from last year's program, and we'll just keep working on the sidewalks in Census Tract 423.
Motion to approve?
So moved.
Second, discussion. So these are bids, correct?
Soliciting bids, yes. And this is a Davis-Bacon project.
So, but we have, or is this separate? I'm sorry. Okay. And how much are we planning on putting out for bid? I'm sorry. Dollar-wise that we have for sidewalks?
Over $600,000.
And this will be near Lincoln School, or?
Some of it will be, most of Lincoln School was done last year.
Right.
This will be filling in some of the north-south streets. We can't do all of them because there's so much that needs to be done.
And we are not ignoring. So, I mean, in the low-income area has been a focus, will continue to be a focus. So, further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. And this work, it'll be put out there for hopes to do work in the summer?
Spring and summer.
Nice.
And then the trees will be planted in the fall. We're looking to have bids returned on April 2nd and opened on April 2nd, and then a contract awarded 2 weeks after that.
Great.
And then there's a pre-bid meeting March 27th at 10:30 in the morning here in the council chambers.
We'll also be putting out, and I don't know if I look at Nick for this, but if they bid on it, they can actually do the work in a timely fashion. I know everyone's busy, but that will be a requirement.
Yes.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you, Mary Ann.
Thank you.
Nick Minnick.
First item I have is recommendation for acceptance of emergency preemption. The first item I have is recommendation for acceptance of emergency vehicle preemption. I did talk to Chief Snyder yesterday, and there's a couple intersections that we're still having a little issue with. So I would ask the board for approval for signature pending resolution of those issues. Some of those issues aren't necessarily associated with the NDOT contract directly, but the maybe operation side of it. So do want to make sure that that's good, and would recommend acceptance pending resolution of those issues.
Motion to approve.
So moved.
Second discussion.
So are those issues with preemption work that was already done?
So we have two intersections specifically that aren't responding as well as we would like. We were kind of informed that other communities are having similar issues, and some of it's having to do with NDOT signal techs don't always know, when the new equipment's in there, there's certain things they shouldn't be doing when they do their work. So I think it's some coordination with NDOT and their signal techs, but I think there also might be a couple things that Hawk, who actually did the installation, needs to adjust. So we just need to verify those things. It shouldn't take long, but we also want to make sure that we can close out the NDOT portion of the contract.
So is any of this element like a sort of warranty work? Something that wasn't done correctly? I mean, I want to make sure we're not paying for something that they should just come back and fix.
Yeah, no, they will fix it. I'm not concerned with that. They're a great contractor that we've had no issues with, and they're very responsive. But again, some of it is not even on the installation side. We think some of it might actually be on the kind of the management side of signals, which is a conversation we need to be having with NDOT, and it really doesn't have anything to do with the contract for installation of preemption.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Tipton Street.
Yeah, so I'm asking for approval for the local match portion. The invoice is for $132,000. That's not what I'm asking for today. A portion of that is part of a condemnation, and I want to kind of hold off on a bit of it. There's two different properties. One of the properties is NIPSCO, and everything's going very well with that one. That total agreed value per the court is $349,000, so our local match would be $69,800. So I'm asking for partial payment of the NDOT invoice in the amount of $69,800. That allows NDOT to get a check to the court and finalize the condemnation proceedings for that site.
So you're asking for a portion of the $132,095?
Correct.
And could they update the invoice correctly? If you could make that happen.
I can try, but...
And the address.
Yeah, I can try. It's some things get challenging in a, state financial...
I'm not sure how challenging that could be, to have the correct name and address.
Be surprised.
Let me know if there's a problem.
We've actually made those requests before, and for some reason it still keeps sending to the former transport director on L Street. I don't know why.
Okay.
It's not the first time we've made this request.
And these funds will come from?
Major moves. They've already been allocated to the project.
Further discussion?
I guess we just need to make sure that it gets appropriately tabulated to the right property, right?
Yep. Yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, motion passes. ADA sidewalk.
So this project was bid at the end of 2022. We had Tucker come on as assistant director, kind of middle of 2023, and so this project has kind of stretched on, but in order to start closing everything out, we needed to do a change order for 2 ADA repairs that weren't part of the original scope. The scope is somewhat flexible as we can add locations, but these had some specific details within the work that were different than some of the other locations we had been working. So we did 2 lump sum projects. They totaled $53,424.02. So I'd recommend approval of the change order in that amount. Takes the total contract to $316,984.29. But likely, we will not go over the $263,560, the original contract amount, but we're just essentially interjecting some lump sum items into the contract, but we'll be removing some unit price items later, so.
So we'll be removing...
Quantity of unit price items at closeout of the project, but we can't get to close out until we finalize this change order.
But we're not doing less sidewalks.
No, we're doing different sidewalks, more or less, yeah.
So these two, the 2 that I see here, what changed because with these 2?
So the biggest things, so like, for example, the Madison and Lincoln Way. So a lot of times our ADA sidewalks are kind of a very specific, like a standard kind of residential section or standard ramp section. But the Madison and Lincoln Way sidewalks were kind of just on the edge of the bid, and they're more like a more urban section. And there was also coordination because those were done with the property owner filling some vaults there too. So it's just a little more complicated than the traditional ADA sidewalks that we did for the rest of the program. And the same with Madison at Norfolk Southern. There was additional grading and things that weren't typical of the sidewalks we had been doing with the rest of the program. We have units for these, and we know essentially, the square yards of concrete sidewalk placed, the linear feet of curb, those are unit price items we normally would have in the contract. But with these, because it was more complex to get there, there's certain things that are built into those items everywhere else that those things were more difficult to do in these locations specifically. So we've reviewed the costs, and it's in line with what we would expect. It's just we're just trying to clean up the contract and make sure that everything is, all the pay items and lump sum items are recorded accurately with this change order.
So basically, if it were more of a straightforward residential sidewalk corner area, the unit pricing is fine, but because of the challenges, the differences in bringing them up to ADA compliance, it's more of kind of put them in the package.
Yeah.
To the point where it addresses the additional complexities.
Yeah, exactly.
Do we have a motion?
You do not.
Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second, further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Craig Phillips, 219 East Lincoln Way.
Okay, we have an offer for the purchase of 219 East Lincoln Way. It's a property that's owned by the city that was previously put out for bid. And we received no bids for that public offering on the property. However, since that time, we have been in discussion with and have received an offer for the purchase of the property from Michael Freese of LaPorte. The amount of the appraisal was $18,000, then the offer for the property is $18,000. What's being offered is a payment of $2,000 paid today. I have a check for that that's been given to me, and then an additional $16,000 to be paid within 60 days for the total of $18,000. So I have I have received the proper form for this. I've reviewed this with the city attorney. And Mr. Freese is with us today if you have any questions for him, but it's a vacant property that the city offered, and his intention is to complete construction of a contractor's office on the property. It's properly zoned for that purpose. And I would request that the board favorably consider this request.
Motion to approve.
So moved.
Second, discussion.
So basically got the appraisal, and the bid matches up with the appraisal, so we're in good shape from the standpoint of, you just mentioned it with, you talked to the city attorney?
Yep, spoke with the city attorney, he's good with this. Yep.
And the zoning's correct?
Correct.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes, and thank you, Mr. Freese.
Thanks.
Thank you for your investment in LaPorte. Andrea Smith.
Oh, hello again. Andrea Smith, HR Director. I'd like to read this letter into the record, please. It was received on February 27, 2024. Dear valued client, we regret to inform you that Northwest Health Occupational Medicine Report and Valparaiso will be permanently closed on March 22nd, 2024. Scheduled appointments after this date will be canceled. Please let us know if we can assist you by calling either one of the offices. Northwest Health urgent care locations and emergency departments will remain open to serve you. As always, thank you for choosing Northwest Health for your care. The providers and staff wish you good health. As such, and luckily for us, I had been in talks with Franciscan before this. They had been courting us to move over to Working Well. However, they wanted us to go to Michigan City. I said, absolutely not. We are not going to Michigan City. What they did do is open up an office in LaPorte. They are currently constructing it right by North Shore Health Centers where we go. But right now, we're going to use the I Street Clinic for anything workers' comp, pre-employment, any type of injury. We will be going there. Once this is signed today, I will send email out to all department heads giving you instructions.
And North Shore doesn't have an option?
North Shore has no option. There's very few people doing this.
Motion to approve?
So moved.
Second? So, excuse me. So do we need to,
Attorney Otis also reviewed this as well and approved it.
and we are
Clo-
approving the letter recognizing that they're closing as well as,
the services that Working Well will be offering us. And the amounts are very comparable to what we're currently paying.
So those services will be, there won't be a loss of opportunities for employees, right?
No, correct. You are absolutely correct.
And then, so currently it'll be at the I Street Clinic, but then they will move over?
To Legacy in May.
Okay.
And they're building out a space over there right now.
further discussion?
Any other downside you see with sort of switching vendors for this service?
No, tell you, Dr. Sayers did a wonderful job with our employees, and he will be missed. However, he is moving to Munster to work out there. So they have nobody doing it there, and they're completely closing the facility. So we'll be in good hands with Working Well. I've used them before. They utilize the same e-screen system, so we're able to track the drug, screens and things like that. So it's a good move.
Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you, board members.
Unfinished business. Mr. Kosher.
I don't have any unfinished business. Take care of our parks and our dumpster program.
Geez, no kidding. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We are adjourned.